To me, Mike Tomlin is the coach of the year in the NFL to this point. When you consider the way he handled the quarterback situation that he had, a way that maybe only he could have based on the circumstances, everyone in the world thought he was crazy for taking Russell Wilson off the field. Well, he doesn't look so crazy now. We talked about that earlier. Let's talk about Russell Wilson for a minute. We had a great interview with him that Hannah Storm did that we showed on Countdown yesterday, in which she brought up all the positivity, all that stuff he said. And he responded by saying, you know, a lot of people think that stuff is fake, but I believe in this stuff. And you know what? Give him credit. Okay. This is a guy whose career was left for dead. And look at how he is playing. And as Dan points out, we don't think of him as the veteran, the savvy veteran, all that stuff. We never give him that credit. But that's the way he's playing right now. And he has turned this Steeler team into something that it wasn't before he became their starter.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we talked. You showed the stat earlier in the show. They went from scoring 20 points to 30 points a game with Russell Wilson, you know, instilled as a starting quarterback. He's obviously rubbing off and making plays on that side of the ball. And when you listen, I know we've talked about Russell Wilson and some of the things that we deem as corny or whatever, but whatever he's got going on, it's clearly rubbing off. He's helping guys make plays, whether it's George Pickens, Mike Williams coming in basically off the street, being traded from the Jets, and then making a critical touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You combine that with the way the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing defense and Mike Tomlin as your head coach, okay, you better play against the Steelers.
One thing about Russell Wilson, let's not forget, this man is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, all right? Everybody they just forget it. Russell's just okay. No. Russell Wilson is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, I'll say this. He threw 50% completion, but that's all he needed to, facing a lot of man coverage. All right? He still can throw the deep ball with anybody. How smart is Pittsburgh as a organization? All right? This Pickens is amazing. 50-50 contested catch guy, right? They bring in another one on the other side. Why? Because they know they're going to get a lot of man coverage. You're going to get either cover 3 or cover 1 because that running game is so good. That plays into the strength of Russell Wilson. So to me, they're for real.
He's remaking his name again. I disagree that he was a Hall of Famer. I think he was in his time in Seattle. He was left for dead the last 2 years.
I know he was.
We were tossing his name around, worst trade in the history of the NFL. I did not think that going to Russell Wilson was going to do this for this offense. Mike Tomlin was dead right. I was dead wrong in that regard. But you're watching him remake his name a little bit. You're watching him reinsert his name into that Hall of Fame conversation again. Reminder, we were lauding Seattle for trading away Russell Wilson and rebuilding their roster because of it. We were killing Denver for doing it. We were saying that, oh my gosh, this is going down as one of the, if not the worst trades in the history of the NFL. Now, and again, I was not on the right side of this. We're talking about them because of Russell Wilson as a Super Bowl contender for some folks. That's remaking your name.
Look, Dan.
Yep. Let's talk about this. I totally agree what Dan Orlovsky was saying. People were doubting Russ being a Super Bowl or being a Hall of Famer, right? I mean, that was the real conversation, right? In Seattle, they saw it, and they saw him really kind of fall off a cliff, so to speak, and they were like, I don't know. He had a handful of great years, but this is a disaster, right? The Broncos trade was considered the worst trade, the worst move in NFL history. I mean, the Broncos were willing to take on all that dead cap just to get him out, right? I mean, people were ripping him. There's a reason why the Steelers, what was it, $1 million, salary or whatever, right? And then there was all the talk when they got Justin Fields, they should just cut Russ. Nah, they're not really paying him any money. They should just cut him, let him try to figure out what he can do. Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback. So no way. Russ's reputation took a massive hit. Massive. And then if he did not play well with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm not so sure he does make the Hall of Fame, honestly. But yeah, the Steelers are a legitimate Super Bowl contender with Russ. He is a seasoned veteran. He knows what he's doing. And so when you talk about this the other players now being elevated by Russ, they're being elevated by his competence, by what he can do when he's in the huddle and there's lots of stuff going on. He's calm, cool, and collected, right? He's been there a million times. And when he throws these 50-50 balls, not only when he throws them in a way that makes them now 60-40. And then someone like Pickens, the receivers, they make them now 70-30. So they're not 50-50 balls. And this is what Russ has done so well. Anytime you're taking these shots downfield, they're all, Drew Brees talked about this recently. They're all, being a quarterback, so much about being a quarterback is calculated risks, right? Calculated gambles, right? When should I throw this ball and when should I not, right? That's what Russ did beautifully. He took his risk, he took his shots, his gamble, so to speak, at the exact moment, at the exact time when it was needed, right? Those throws that he was making were unbelievable, were awesome. Now, listen, some of them were like kind of these prayer throws. It was like, I got nothing to lose, I got to do it. And it worked out for the Steelers, obviously. But that was the Steelers game. This game was actually more close than it even should have been, right? That fumble, like, come on. That was kind of nonsense. But they stepped up, right? The Commanders are a really great team. They are a top team in the NFL, top 10 team in the NFL, right? Like this is not the Commanders of years past. So this was a tough, gritty win, and seeing what the defense was able to do. I mean, the defense made Jaden Daniels look uncomfortable, right? I mean, I still think Jaden Daniels played great and showed why he's special. I mean, it wasn't one of his best games, but I still think that he showed what makes him special. I mean, he made some unbelievable throws and showed how he's the future of the NFL. But there were still many times that the Steelers really stepped up and got really key situational stops. I mean, there was a moment in the game, right? It was a really, I even wrote, like, really tough second half start, right? Giving up an easy touchdown after the touchdown to end the first half, right? And now the score is 24-14. And now the game could really kind of just fall out, right? I mean, it really could. Things could just be quicksand and it could just be too much, right? I mean, that's what happens all the time. But then it was a really big answer. First possession, down 10, right? Wilson to Pickens. It was a 2nd and 19, because, right, then they were even behind the sticks, 2nd and 19. And boom. Right? Instantly cut the lead down to 3. I mean, like, just like that. That changes everything. Changes the complete momentum. So there were so many times that this game could have gone out of control that we've seen happen to the Steelers in years past, when you do have, Mason Rudolph as your quarterback, or Mitch Trubisky, or whoever the heck you have trotting out there. But this game didn't. Right? The defense felt that they were playing for a purpose. They were playing to keep themselves in the game, and that's also the difference too. In years past, especially when you didn't have a legitimate offense, the Steelers defense had to play to win the game, right? That's what it was. They had to play to win the game, which is exhausting. Absolutely exhausting from a defensive perspective, because they can't score points. Obviously, they can on like fumbles and interceptions, but you obviously can't rely on that, right? And so it's exhausting. The defense feeling that they have to win the games, that they have to literally win this games because they know their offense is going to do nothing. Now their defense is playing to just keep them in. We just got to do our part. We got to do our part, and we just got to keep us in this game, and our offense can take care of the rest. That is the way how you want to play football, right? That is how the defense needs to feel, right? Not that they have to carry this burden. They no longer have to carry that burden. This is now actually a complete team. And when I made Commanders videos, I said, listen, this is going to be the most complete team that the Commanders have faced, right? You faced other teams that had a great offense but a terrible defense, a great defense but a bad offense, right? This is one of the most complete teams in the NFL. No question about it. I don't know a single team that's excited to face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why would you? Especially the way how Russ is playing, especially how this defense is playing. And they're only going to get better. Russ hasn't been playing since week 1. He's only going to get better. This defense is going to start to believe in what they got too. They're going to play harder and better. The offensive weapons are better. I mean, like, the Steelers are making moves, man. They're making moves. So I really believe, the question is, are Steelers Super Bowl contenders with Russell Wilson? Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, am I predicting that they're going to win the Super Bowl? I don't make those predictions. But they absolutely. Which team looked better this past, on Sunday? The Pittsburgh Steelers or the Kansas City Chiefs? The answer is obvious. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their offense was better. Their defense was better. You know, which team looked more composed and ready to go in the AFC? Right, the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Houston Texans. How can you doubt how legit the Pittsburgh Steelers are? They're well coached. They're well prepared. They got the roster. They got the quarterback. They got the coordinator. They got what you need. Now they just need health and execution. And they are going to be a tough out for sure. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you think that they are legit Super Bowl contenders? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.